You're listening to a Rowan Rook and Deckard actual play. This is Till Death Do Us Part.
Hello! Welcome to our game of Heart today. I'm Kieron Gillen, I'm GMing, pronouns are he, him. Nathan, tell me who you're playing today.
Hi, I'm Nathan Blades, he, they, and I am playing the one and only Velvet Monte Carlo, the witch.
Yes, excellent. And Grant, whom are you playing today?
Hello, I'm Grant Howitt, he, him, and I'm playing Caster Scrift, a junk mage.
And Ed Spence, tell me about who you're playing today.
I am playing Searle Clogs the Throat, or Searle for short, an Elfir Deadwalker.
Naomi, who are you playing today?
Bee! No.
Bees!
I'm playing Hiker the Handless, and I'm playing a deep apiarist, if you couldn't tell.
I just want to make buzzy noises all the time for the game.
That's why we've got a producer, they can pipe that in.
Bees in post, bees in post.
Yeah, bees in post, baby.
I would like you to imagine in the middle of a desolate plain stretching out as far as you can see basically nothing. We zoom across this plain and suddenly looming up like an aggressive finger pointed at a sky that's full of too many gods, we see the spire itself. Miles high, this edifice to elven civilization, whatever that means. We zoom straight up the hut spire and then straight down, zooming through it, down the Vermissian, this impossible, dimension-crossing tube station, down past elves and dark elves and everything else working, through a load of mud and squelch, out through an orifice, soaring into Derelictus, flying, crashing through a window into Caster Shrift's bar. Caster, tell me about your favourite bar.
It's the Black Wyvern. It's on one of the platforms, the abandoned train station which Derelictus is built on. And it is a favourite haunt for people who are about to go into the heart and die. I've set up a lucrative enough business selling, shonky maps of the heart. And you know what? They're accurate when I drew them. I am stumbling away from a table, pretending to be slightly drunker than I am, although I am kind of drunk. Having schmoozed some people who've come down here, and I'm hoping I can convince them to maybe escort me down and die instead of me.
Brilliant. Can you give us a visual? Tell me what you look like.
Yeah, absolutely. I look like Richard E. Grant from With Now and I, but a dark elf. I mean, that's the inspiration for the character, but sort of a lanky, malnourished-looking drow who has ashen grey skin. Quite big ears, but that's quite fashionable for drow, so that's okay. He insists on wearing sunglasses of smoked glass and an enormous scarf and head covering and kind of a cloak of bright saffron yellow, which is, again, the style. And he is covered in a variety of gewgaws, tchotchkes, trinkets, and shifting tattoos in arcane scripts seem to sort of skitter down his arm like spiders, and he sort of slaps them out.
Brilliant. The drunk mage making his way around the bar, causing trouble. We pan around, Jellycut, around to Velvet. What's Velvet doing?
Velvet Monte Carlo is in a similar fashion of pretending to be more drunk than she actually is, mostly because the alcohol here tastes pretty bad. But it's good to be seen. She is Wednesday Addams by way of dungeon adventurer. There is a lot of black lace involved, heavy black and gold jewelry, rings, necklaces, a deep skin tone with kind of just almost like an underhint of purple to it. Unfavorably like a bruise, more favorably like a plum.
That's brilliant. Okay, you're sitting there, the drinks are moving heavily. We Jellycut around the table to Searle.
What's a jelly cut, my guy?
Jellycut is one of these kind of wobbly, I think it's a wobbly cut as you move it and the camera does the sort of wobble around. I might just be calling it entirely the wrong name, but you know that really bit that was very popular outside 2010 or whatever, where everything in the room freezes and they do a kind of matrix cut?
I got you right.
Bullet time?
Yeah, like that.
Right, okay. Yeah, sure. Also, during this time, I am cutting into a jelly.
Yeah. Unrelated.
Alcoholic jelly is going on a lot in this place.
Yeah, it travels well.
Yeah, it's true.
Can't spill it.
No matter how much you try. Searle, you're 3 days into a jelly binge, and you've been hiding out in here.
Yeah. He's got the mark of the hoof on him.
Yeah, Castor definitely introduced Soil to jelly alcohol 3 days ago,
Yeah.
and it is sitting very well with Soil.
How long has it been since you've gotten kind of fucked up, Soil?
Oh.
Because I imagine you used to do that quite a lot of time back in the old city.
Longer ago than I remember, truthfully. The figure at the table is tall and gaunt, with emaciated, pale skin clinging to a pronounced and bony frame, and his torso is entirely bare, interrupted only by labyrinthine tattoos set in deep black ink, some probably applied by Castor himself, and around his waist there are fastened many interlocking leather belts from which hang bags and satchels and bones, and over these floor-length layers that obscure his legs, there are chains upon chains of interlocking golden coins, roughly hewn and jangling like mournful wind chimes. And resting against his left hip, there is a beautiful full-face golden mask, not unakin to the gold filigree one that covers his face. This one stops short at the mouth, because where there should be a jaw, there is instead a glimmering golden prosthetic as bright as the eyes that rather groggily look out as he just sort of leans over this small mound of jelly on the plate in front of him.
Brilliant. The reason why you've been in the bar this often is A, jelly is delicious.
Oh, so good.
But B, you've heard people are looking for you. And that's just something you can take or leave. But these people apparently had a lot of guns. And it's one of those situations where conversation with people with guns go one way or the other pretty fast. So you've decided that, the safest thing to do is basically get yourself incredibly drunk with your servant Castor. And it's working so far.
I just wave a bony finger in Castor's direction and just sort of gesture to the plate.
More jelly, sir. Very good, sir.
Oh my god.
Yes, please, it is sitting rather well.
Swatting rather well?
Sitting.
Shitting.
Sitting.
It does have that effect, yes.
You'll help me with that later on, won't you, Castor?
I bring over, and it's like 70s grade jelly.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna wipe your ass. I'm getting the
X card.
X card that right off the bat. There we go. It's like proper 70s grade jelly. Like there's stuff in there. And that's all part of the appeal.
It's like a full meal.
Oh yeah,
jelly.
yeah, absolutely.
Velvet kind of pushes her plate of Jello shot. You can have mine as well. I'm not hungry. Watching you put them away has made me not hungry.
Soil just literally unhooks his jaw and...
Oh, good, it's perfect for Soil.
Yep, that's why.
Oh, that's great.
Fucking why.
You're such a thoughtful servant, Castor.
I like to imagine that when you sat down in your fucking get up, everyone was like, "Wow, who's this guy? That's amazing!" And then just as you started hoovering up more and more jelly, there's more and more room generated around you in the Black Wyvern.
Well, the thing is, this does actually make it easier for the Black Wyvern. In that kind of, since there's a bit of space when everyone watches the High Elf fail to eat jelly well. Probably the title of the adventure, though, I fear. At which point, Hiker makes her entrance.
Hiker is a large knoll, and I think it's fun if we have the shoo shoo doors, where she puts her hands on both and they fly open.
Sorry, she puts her what on the doors?
Oh, you're so right. I'm so sorry.
I mean, technically you do have hands, they're just not yours.
Yeah. She puts an appendage on the doors fly open, and she's there in her little pantsuit with the no-shirt waistcoat, in an ivory with the brogues, but none of that really hits, because at the end of her arms are what you kind of think of when you see a claw machine, made out of bone and wax, but they are fractalizing the whole time. So it's like they're shifting into smaller and smaller triangles. It's sort of a rhythmic kind of way, but they look fucked up. And the only other thing you notice is a sort of a low hum that accompanies her. It's like her fur is like ruffling in the wind, but there's no wind in here. What could that be? Oh my god, it's bees.
Quite the group we have here. There is one other thing that Hiker actually has with her. And in her hand, she has a small piece of paper. Well, like, you say paper, you can't really be sure down in the heart. Something flat that someone has written upon. Mm-hmm. It's been written upon in a slightly crystalline, still liquid purple. It glitters, and we pan over to Velvet the second she sees it. Like the kind of the slowest movement of it. It's only the taste of it, but you know that stuff, and that stuff is on there and sort of dribbling down slightly. Everyone can read the invite, though. Whilst you're kind of dumbfounded, the invite itself is interesting. It reads,
You are cordially invited to the wedding of Louisa, to concepts innumerable and inexplicable. Celebration beyond comprehension is promised. Witnesses will be some of the living and all of the dead. Location, the heart itself. When? Sooner than you'd think. Ends? Late.
I would like to change my intro. I'd like to be, like, sobbing hysterically, thank you, with this piece of information.
That's why when you're kind of stunned, I wanted to leave you open to break down.
Okay, I think I am, like, striding over to the table where the jelly monstrosity is happening, and I slap my hand on the table, and I'm like, "Und, can you believe this? Louisa is getting married again?"
Can you please sweep all the jelly off? I've
Yeah,
spent
yeah.
so much time with the jelly.
I slap the jelly away with my waxy hands, and my bees sort of slide across the floor and start eating it.
Soil's jaw goes scattering across the tabletop as well. He just suddenly starts bending down, trying to pick it up off the wooden floor.
Since the ink is still wet on this, like a sheet of crystalline paper, upon the force of it being slammed on the table, small flecks of it kind of go everywhere, and we see one land on the back of Velvet's hand as she looks at it in, like, surprise, then joy, then fear. When did you receive this? When did who delivered this to you? More than anything else, I'm sorry. Are you okay? I should ask first. Are you okay?
No. Just like, like just long lines of tears that then split into two lines and split into two lines and split into two lines all the way to the floor. I collapse into the chair next to you and put my head forlornfully on your shoulder.
You get like a soft pap there on the top of your head with her free hand. So yeah, I'm sorry. I have to ask. Who gave this to you? Where did you find this?
You're just walking down on your bee business, doing bee stuff, and you look down in your hand and you found the invite there.
And she's used the same paper that we picked out, and that was like premium at the time. And now it just looks like a sad copy. And I think I woke up with it.
You know, funniest thing, that makes a surprising amount of sense. What also makes a surprising amount of sense is that you need at least a double whiskey. It's better than the Jello shots, I promise. And there's a wave over to the bartender. A double of the finest stuff you got on the rocks. That's right.
The drinks are brought over sharpish, and of course everything's going on here. Basically, Soil, the one thing that stood out there, of course, is all the dead will be there.
Yes.
Yeah. There's an implication there, and that's nagging at you. And I'm particularly going to drill down to Castor at this moment. Castor, however, of course, has noticed the obvious thing about the party.
Fascinating you should mention this, I say, and slam a map down on top of the invite, which looks like a London tube map drawn by a lunatic. Round this neck of the woods, there's a tradition that we'll have to bring a gift to the wedding. Picked up a lead on a dragon. And of course, dragon heart is that's off limits. I am going to smoke that. But the head of an aortic leviathan will make a fine prize for whatever your wife's choosing to marry. And then maybe we can get in and talk her out of the whole idea, or kill her, or whatever it is you've got planned. Now, and that thing's got to be thrumming with power. Delicious, moist, oily power.
Don't talk about my fiancé like that.
No, the train. I'm sure your fiancé is very powerful. I mean, you bit your hands off.
Do you think she's going to bite the next girl's hands off too?
I fear that may be the least of the new girl's worries.
To be honest, if it's really an aortic leviathan that you're aiming for, you're going to need to do a little bit of preparing. After all, you're not going to be able to get on if you don't have a ticket. And I think around the time that we're in, there's like a glance outside, like there is a daylight that could tell you what the time of day is.
Nathan, what is it you see out the window instead of like the sun and like a 4 o'clock shadow? Like, what is like the little like shot that we get?
Are they rotating in the evening bell?
It's just like two eyes like with blood pouring out of them. And you're like, oh yeah, 4 o'clock.
Okay. No, genuinely, because this is kind of like almost like an organic space within the cycle of what happens to at least psychologically feel like 24 hours. The vaulted ceiling fully extends and contracts again like one breath.
Oh, really sick.
Yeah, we're in the descending, so it's probably a little bit of time to go and book tickets before last trains. So, shall we settle the bill and get going, or am I going to have to, claim the heart, for myself without you?
Oh, not a problem. I'll sort the bill. I go over to the bartender and gesture at the rubes.
The rubes, which are a bunch of like high elf tourists, go grinning back with thumbs up.
I turn around and, with a roar of "Gentlemen," I explain what's going on and how I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, finish up the bill here, and we'll meet you tomorrow. I say, and again, there is no tomorrow, but they aren't really into that sort of thing yet. I will go around and collect up all of the various incenses and blow out the incense and stuff it back in my pocket, which I've been lighting to keep this space sufficiently spooky, and start getting my things together.
I think Velvet, upon you removing the map with the kind of like invite underneath, Velvet goes for it first before Hiker. If it's all right, can I hold on to this?
Yes, looking at it just fills me with...
Thanks. She cuts you off, and immediately, rummaging around inside, very frilly overcoat, pulls out what you'd basically use almost like forensic to kind of take a sample of this drying ink to try and store it.
I think the moment that Velvet sweeps away, as Soil just reconnects his jaw fully in place, just sort of looms over you, Hiker, and just... Yes, what exactly is it that you want out of this little reunion of yours? The last time I saw you in such distress was when we first met. Dredging up old feelings, perhaps.
Well, last time we met, I lost these, and she sort of, gestures to her strange and unnatural limbs. And now I feel like I'm losing, the hope of... we could be maybe it was an accident, and she bit my wrist just for kind of a cool joke.
You mustn't lose hope, Hiker. Come along. I'm sure she'll take you back. Absolutely. I'm sure it's just normal pre-wedding jitters. Are normal in any marriage.
This is not really cold feet, is it? It's cold hands.
yeah,
excellent.
We hard cut away from this conversation to zoom in on the map that Castor's got, and written on the side, in Castor's writing, it's 1, get to God of Corpses, 2, get lead to find train, 3, get head of train, 4, wedding, exclam, underlined a few times.
There's probably a couple of steps in there which are just question mark.
Profit.
Yeah, there's profit in that kind of way. Yeah, question, central heart at wedding. Then we zoom in on the map, and we get kind of like that Game of Thrones map effect as we hit his map, and then we go through it down the back tunnels, basically following where Castor led you. There's bits of some fights against some creatures of frankly too many limbs and some injuries, down another few steps, down a kind of bloody passageway at the back, and then we kind of full stop jerk as your group, the 4 of you, standing in front of what is only kind of known as a corridor sphincter.
It's a great band. I love that album.
Yeah, corridor sphincters, early material, quite difficult to digest. Sorry, corridor sphincters are basically, they're kind of like anemones that feed into blockages in the heart and just sit there, and they basically, people can push their way through them, but it'll kind of feed you a bit as you go through.
The camera turns around and Castor is already rubbing the jelly over his arms. You apply a thin layer of jelly to your body. It eats the jelly off, leaving your skin intact.
No, Castor, down. Not again.
Down?
So Castor's getting jellied up. Hiker's having a strong response to it. What do you reckon? So, are you going to follow Castor's lead?
No, I thought I would turn into a group of bees and take 6 hours to do this instead.
Where it would then lick each and every bee as it passes.
Oh my god, yeah, that's so much more dangerous.
Yeah, this is definitely turning us up to easily digestible bee slurry.
Yeah, ideally. My plan is to create a bee funnel and slowly open it to create a pathway for the rest of them.
We haven't the time, Hiker. The answer to every situation is not turn into 1,000 bees.
I know it's weird every time I do. Shall I try talking to it at least?
Castor's like shirtless now and like he's like rubbing deep heat all over himself, basically.
Hurry, Velvet, hurry!
Fuck, this stuff goes in right through the skin.
What's Searle making of this?
Oh, devastated at the loss of all of this jelly, frankly. Just looking at Castor, just slowly becoming more and more crestfallen, and just begins to turn over a couple of the dead dream mushrooms in one of his satchel. He's going to see how all of this plays out, but he has a backup option.
There's the image of a ghostly hand on your shoulder for a second, and the camera pans up to see your face, and you turn down, and then Castor's hand slaps greasily on your shoulder. Not a problem, sir.
No,
We'll need to get you jellied up as well, sir.
I
And starts like massaging it into your shoulders.
it's cold.
It is
This audio's going on in the background, and like a blurs or dulls slightly as she moves towards this thing. I guess this is both a mechanics and a narrative question. What kind of domain of the space are we in?
This is definitely cursed. Normally, this is like Warren's, but this is like a sort of growth of the heart that's come here to feed. There's worse things in the heart than this. This is just a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, there's a pull out of a small kind of like handwritten book flicking through. Right, yes, okay. The phonemes of this one are a little strange, but I can do that just about. And she puts a couple of fingers into her mouth and pulls.
I thought they were going to go in the sphincter, and I was so upset.
No. It's okay. Pulls like some of the, I guess, physiology of the inside of her mouth slightly, and exposes a bit of kind of crystalline framing underneath the skin. And I would love to roll Compel Cursed to have a chat with the sphincter in its own heartbeat. It's in its own tongue, so to speak.
This sounds magnificent, and a great time to explain the mechanics to our listeners.
First roll.
Now we're playing a role-playing game.
Yeah.
Okay, the way heart works is we create dice pools of D10 dice. You get one for trying it. You get a second dice if you've got the skill. In the skill, in this case, we decide is Compel, which is basically talking to people. Have you got Compel?
I do indeed have Compel, so we're at 2.
You do. Excellent. So you get 2 dice. Now, you also get the domain. Domain is basically the area you're in. So, as they might technology, if you're in a technology area, that means you're generally good in places where there's tech. In this case, this is cursed. This is a creature of the heart. Do you have cursed, Velvet?
I maybe I'm cheating slightly in my rambling through the nature. I do have cursed as well, so we're rolling all 3.
I did plan an encounter that people would roll quite well on to explain how many dice.
Yeah, we've got to do well now for the despair later.
Fantastic. Best you roll these 3 dice and tell me the best number.
Absolutely. Ooh, the best one's a 9. That's pretty juicy.
That is what we call in the business a full success. It works perfectly.
Yeah, there's just rearranging of the lower half of her mouth, and in the pulling away of lips, you see that the skeletal structure underneath is strangely crystalline, and the sound that's made between the two, it has a rhythm to it. It has a sonorous nature. All conversations, regardless of language, have a rhythm and of turn-taking. It doesn't sound great. It sounds Fruity Loop Studio first beat level kind of construction of this music of conversation.
You are Velvet Monte Carlo. You are Velvet Monte Carlo. I have heard excellent things about you. Hello. This is how sphincters sound now, but I'm afraid.
And in the same kind of stuttering staccato. Thank you for recognizing me. It's a pleasure. I have a favor. I would love to go and take my cohorts through, but I would love for them to be intact.
Not even a little chew.
No, it wouldn't help their wishes come true, and you know that's what all I'm about these days.
What about the nice greasy one? They have made themselves nice and greasy, which is very tasty.
I tell you what, let me get them through to the destination and let the jelly age on their body, so upon return, they will be vintage in flavour.
Yum, yum, yum. That sounds delicious.
And there is a gentle, like, arc waving of the hand, and we kind of see the surface of the space start to move with the hand gesture.
Brilliant. And it opens up beautifully, slowly, and suddenly the pathway is clear to the thing leading downwards, so you can head through quite safely.
She turns to everybody else and gives a thumbs up. The lower half of her face looks like a broken amethyst geode. It's not great.
Sick.
Brilliant. So everyone passed through. Normally you do these things called delve rolls for exploring and stuff. Imagine big locations, and between locations you've got these things called delves. Delves are basically abstracted journeys, and they get basically a number of points called resistance. In this case, I'm going to give you a boon. A boon is basically a free thing you roll to reduce the delve damage.
Oh, thank you for your generosity.
You talking to the sphincter. Who could expect any better? That's delightful.
Oh, I mean, it's a 6 today.
That's your favourite number.
It is my favourite number.
That's lucky.
You're passing through, so picture you all kind of moving through. I'm giving, like, specifically Castor's at the back, because you've got to get your shirt back on and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm a bit embarrassed.
I think you're almost upset. It's a lot of waste.
I'm absorbing an awful lot of it through my skin.
Ooh, yeah. Alcohol and bare skin is not great.
Oh, it's all right.
You're halfway through and you realise something. The corridor sphincter's opened up. These things have tiny little nodules, little pustules that grow on the inside. They're like caviar, basically. They've got to be eaten really fresh. You can grab a handful on the way through, eat them, and then you'll be tripping balls.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. As the camera pans through, the other 3 come out. It pans back to the sphincter, and my arm's stuck in there as I'm trying to grab it.
I see no problem.
Onwards. What kind of high are we talking?
Really high.
Skyscraper.
An enormous elation. Imagine if your entire life is about eating things and you're now eating everything. And well, imagine if your sphincter stuck in basically one place and now you can walk.
Okay, yes, there's a sort of ascendance to it.
Yeah. As in, like, you are a higher being of perfection and everything you do is magnificent and beautiful. Every single thing is a thing of beauty and wonder.
I can't wait to eat more things. And like I'm gently chewing on my hand as we walk down the corridor.
It tastes of stars exploding. Okay, who's taking the lead?
I think Searle is probably leading. I think Hiker's probably in the mood to follow.
Yeah, Searle, this is probably the very limits of the areas that Searle knows. So this is probably the last point at which he's going to be
I
useful.
think like we've been drinking in the God of Corpses once before.
Probably, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Searle is leading the way, almost as though, like, led by the hand. You see that as he walks, almost sort of without control over his footfall. His left hand is just reach out, almost as though grasping thin air, just sort of careening softly, stumbling ever so slightly, and just observing, occasionally glancing back at Castor and seeing a very familiar look in his eyes as he just wanders on.
That's kind of beautiful. What about you, Heike?
I think Hiker is really, like, looking at the back of Searle's head, but thinking only of, this is a wedding where all the dead are invited. Searle is dead. Why didn't Searle give me a heads up? Like, I kind of thought Searle was a girl's girl.
That is rude.
Like, I kind of thought that we were, like, rocking like that, and now I'm kind of getting the feeling that Searle's kind of maybe trying to get in on Louisa, and I'm not about it. Like, what's that about? You know? And so I think there's this sort of, like, low thrum on the back of your neck from just me being like behind you as you walk. And I'm like, oh, hey, Searle, it's crazy. This is so weird that all the dead people are invited. And, like, did you not hear about it?
No, I did not. But I am as interested in the living as I am the dead. Both parties.
I don't think that's true. I think maybe... I want to know why you don't think it's important for me and Louisa to get back together. Like, I thought you were, like, my friend. And now I feel like I'm receiving some judgment from you.
Hiker. He's not technically dead. He's only legally dead.
And I am legally married, I guess.
Where's the ring?
Hey, fuck you!
Okay, PvP, it works like this in this game.
Pair of us just shoving each other in a wet tunnel.
Searle fairly immediately rounds on you, Hiker, and... So, we are friends, and friends keep no secrets from one another.
Yes, and what secret am I keeping from you? I told you that outfit was no good for you, and I told you that 3 days of jelly was going to fuck you up, and you don't listen.
Yeah, well, that is why I took my shirt off, so I would have a more unique ensemble, but you have never mentioned why. Why did you come into possession not only of the ability to step into my domain, but also... And he glances down at the bees. We have never discussed those friends of yours.
I think there's this moment where she just, like, her hand's full of bees, and she's like, und sehr cool, like, the hive is, like, really chill. Listen, I came here after a terrible day, I would like to remind you, where I lost both of my hands, and then I was just, like, trying my best, okay? And I'm just a girl, okay?
Come along, everyone. There's no need to argue. We can argue later at the wedding. That's what weddings are for.
We need to, I don't know, be able to keep our shit together if we're going to be, removing a heart of a dragon and all that. Also, not for nothing, Soil, but your domain?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit much.
I mean, all right.
Do you mean like you're possessive or like you're as in the place that you go, like your bar?
All right, hands up. Who has died?
Oh,
Obviously.
thank you, hands up. Very good. Fuck you.
But who here has died and crawled themselves out of their own grave? Just me? Still
As
just...
you say the grave bit, my hand goes down.
So, this is why I'm thinking perhaps I know a little bit more about these things than...
Oh, Jesus Christ, enough! And there's just... Velvet Monte Carlo. Just flowers blooming backwards to reveal just almost like bunches of long, Giant's Causeway style crystals kind of
real
connected into each other in long forms. This other side is still humanoid, just about. It feels more of an astrolabe of objects than a person, but these spinning spheres within spheres grab Soil by the chest and says, "Shut up."
My apologies, Velvet.
There's this moment of panic and arousal in Castor's eyes. Because like he's seen you pop before, and it's really cool, but not here, not in the tunnel.
Not so near the sphincter.
At this moment, however, Castor, you're not feeling well.
I didn't start feeling well when I came out tonight. Yeah.
I reckon this is probably a roll to sort of not take damage. Just to explain to the listener, basically you've got 5 sorts of resistances all the characters do, of their different things. This is probably going to be aiming at the mental.
I'd roll the 1, Kieron.
Well, that's a critical fail. That means the dice goes up the side.
That's extra stress for me.
Velvet, did you say your form had a psychic attack by itself normally against enemies?
It is a D4 stress when people witness the terrible form of Velvet Monte Carlo.
Well, that's pushed up to D6 stress because he rolled a critical fail. What happens now is I roll a D12 and see if I roll less than that number, and then bad stuff happens. This is one of these games where basically you accumulate like stress.
You're absolutely fine until you're not.
Exactly. No, you're fine, Ron. What interesting insight about humanity and life and drownness and everything else have you got from seeing this goddess before you?
I think that the heart must have subsumed the Sky Court in some way, because this is the most beautiful thing I can ever imagine. And the Sky Court must be the most beautiful thing I can ever imagine. So clearly she's been touched by the Sky Court as well.
In kind of like saying shut up to Soil, like a wave of like peppermint and burning caramel like on the edge of it being, but it just kind of flows down this corridor backwards, hits Castor in the face with it.
I'm really trying not to eat Velvet at this point.
Yeah, no, great. Actually, that's great. Like the form feels like it's almost the physicality of this form turns like a human, even though none of these objects should. Turns to the side, and we see Castor kind of like nibbling on Velvet's elbow.
Grant is doing an excellent mime, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, it's true. I was more for Nathan, but yes.
No, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Hiker and Soil, how are you both feeling after this very weird experience? Hiker first.
I'm feeling like Velvet's really a girl's girl. Velvet's got my back. Velvet's on the team. Maybe Velvet will be my maid of honor next time.
Maybe it's a faux pas for the maids of honor to be in a outfit more elaborate than the people getting married.
Not at a lesbian wedding, baby.
Ah, well.
Listen, you just let those hands grow out. It's going to get pretty crazy.
I think as Soil is slowly lowered to the ground and his bare, gnarled feet just touch what passes for earth in this place, just rather humbled and sort of lowering himself a little, just turns to you, Hiker, and I apologize, but I cannot give you answers to the very questions that I seek. I do not know why I am shut out.
That's all I needed was to hear an apology from you. That's better. And we didn't even see her turn back. It's just like a frame later. She is back to the much more gothy form of herself. She looks tired, though. I hate having to do all of that all at once, but it seemed necessary. Please don't make me do that again.
Yeah, thanks. It's really good of you. It's fantastic. I'm really glad that you're here.
She blushes. No, it's fine. It's fine. We're just trying to get to the dragon, and then we're going to remove the dragon's heart.
Yes, the
and then
dragon!
Yeah. No, let's focus on the task at hand. Beautiful.
I will. Castor will charge off ahead, valiantly excited, reminded of the dragon.
For listeners at home, you missed the face that Grant made as he sniffed the camera.
Well, I tried to make the sniff as loud as possible so it would come over.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but the face was indescribable.
We fade out here in terms of Searle's describing his ghost sort of leading him on.
Yes, I can't remember stumbling home from the God's Corpse. God of Corpses.
The God's Corpse is the bar in the God of Corpses.
Basically, this place is like tunnels going down a series of sewer systems that would normally like much worse stuff going through it, but not right now. So a delve roll basically is how well it's get going. It's Warrens, because it's fit tunnels, and it's delve. Have you any of those skills?
I have Delve.
Excellent. So you have 1 dice.
I have Warren.
Well, if you want to help, that's also allowed.
I would love to do that.
2 dice for you, Searle, 1 dice for you, Hiker. If bad stuff happens, it happens to both of you, is the one problem of helping.
Cool.
Lovely. Let's bond.
Not to me. I got a 9.
I got an 8.
Ooh.
Do you want to describe how your teamwork gets you through this wonderful bit of tunnelling?
Yeah, I think that Searle is leading the way, and I've kind of got my hands out. And there comes a point where we reach a fork in the road, and it's like half of the fractals in one of my hands just disappear. And it's like, oh, not that way. It's must be this way.
So, how do you feel about this helping hand? No, not pun intended.
Wah, wah.
Honestly, I feel after their little altercation, I think Searle, especially glancing back at Velvet every so often, just aware that he's probably under sort of fairly heavy discerning, is going to fall back a little bit behind Hiker, and I think is just going to observe the way that her hands interact with the environment around her. There is still something that he's trying to figure out, and he is very happy to see a demonstration of this.
So you're getting there and you realise you're getting close to the God of Corpses, mainly because things start smelling. What you know about the God of Corpses, there's an enormous dead thing and people are worshipping as a god and living inside it, and generally you're being disgusting because we're downing in the heart. But you're just approaching there and there is a gunshot at you. No, you got to give the warning, mate. You got to give them the message. Because these people basically, they've been waiting for you, even more specifically, Searle. From the pockets of one of these creatures, they bring out a large golden mask. And they put it on their face. It's an Elfir mask. You recognise it with Danse with Marigolds, the most incredibly inappropriate murderous cousin of yours. And the mask animates. Danse with Marigolds looks at you with utter contempt. You just couldn't stay dead, could you? All this living? How much effort we went to kill you the first time, and you get up and gallivant around in the underground? We can't be having that. No, not at all. Goodbye forever. I hope you appreciate this message, because it's cost me a lot of money to send this message just to laugh in your face as you die again. Goodbye. Good day to you, sir.
Wait, why couldn't you give me a better grave?
Like, they put the gold mask away, and basically they're pulling guns and dropping at you. These are trained mercenaries, opting to put Searle back in the soil.
Searle immediately grabs Castor and just pushes him in front of him and just, you deal with this.
Wow.
Searle shoves me forward. I stumble, trying to get my gun out. It doesn't work. And then I'm going to ball up power in my hand and slap it into the ground. I'm going to cast Curse of the Sky Court. These fey spirits of air, long banished from their birth realm, are in a zealous and perpetual quest for pleasure. Basically, it's an instant party. So that is Compel plus Occult, so I've got Occult, so I'm going to roll 2d10. 7, so it succeeds, and I mark stress.
I read Mock Stress to Mind, actually. I was going to say Echo. This is your magic, so Mind.
On a success, all those nearby are compelled to seek immediate pleasure, drink, drugs, dance, wild creation of art, music, general hedonism, and miscellaneous frivolity. These guys want to have a party.
2 of the guys immediately turn at each other, look at each other with passion, and kiss each other back,
Yes!
you know, delighted and joyous.
As I'm slamming my hand into the ground, it's like... And it's almost like you can hear ambient techno from a nearby club.
This drum beat's going for everybody. You know, you can feel it. It sounds awesome. Castor's dropped the beat. The second he was dragged in front, and suddenly they turn, they're kissing. There's clearly desperate passion. They've wanted to do this forever. The other one, unfortunately, is a sadistic murderer, and he really wants to kill people.
Oh, fair enough.
He looks really happy and says, "I was saving this one for a special day."
All painful.
Since we are now in like a party energy, Velvet is, I didn't really want to do this twice today, but we're killing them, right? Like in Sotto to the they're all dying, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. And as she walks through again towards them, she unfurls again, and in this kind of party atmosphere, the shape of these spinning spheres and crystals feels like 90% leg figure just kind of walks through. The mechanics of transforming is that I roll with mastery on hunt and kill checks.
They all take D4 stress because you changed.
Yes, true. What's the domain here? Warren, you said?
Warren, probably, you're right, still.
Then it's just the base D10 and then mastery on kill, but Heike can assist.
So, extra dice. It's worth it. This guy is a risky. He's the good one. You remove the highest dice of you 3. So you're rolling 3 dice, 1 for Heike, 2 for Velvet.
Okay. My best was a 9, and that has been removed, so my second best is a 6, which is a success at the cost, at least.
What about you, Heike? What do you roll?
I also rolled a 6. I can't help you.
The way I think it goes is, oh no, he's aiming, and you know exactly when he's going to pull the trigger. That's the thing. And they're going to hit Velvet. And you've got to basically, before you can shout, you've got to basically dive in the way and get into the floor.
Sure.
Both you're taking D8 stress to blood. Like, this is genuinely a big gun. Velvet gets up, though. The shot's gone, so you're close enough to jump in and actually get the wound, so it's a success. So you deal damage.
I think the shot, like, goes wide, or maybe it just goes into some of these crystals and they shatter, but does that matter? Where is even the target to hit on this thing? From the perspective of this gunman, Velvet offers him what looks like a candy, like one of those really brightly coloured marble candies. It looks so delicious. The smell of, again, like a peppermint and slightly burning caramel wafts through the air.
Caramel wasps.
Well, yes, I guess with this particular combo.
The natural enemy of the bee.
That's where caramel comes from.
In that wisp of air, it's like, you're hungry. Why didn't you eat it? It turns to the perspective of everybody else, what horrendous, sharp, multi-bladed thing he's actually kind of put in his mouth instead of the weird illusion Velvet kind of has put upon him in this terrifying form.
Do you know what stress damage you do in your thingy form?
When I attack people just unarmed. Oh, I mean, I guess this is... I like the idea that this is me actually shooting him, and from his perspective, he's eaten something. Cool. That's kill D6.
As the music, the pleasure's going in, and he's kind of got this kind of... if you go inside his head for a second, you get this kind of like... music
The wonderful land of chocolate.
It's a chocolate theme, but it's got a really kicking like 4-beat beneath it. It's got that kind of going, he's sort of chewing this happily, and then there's a kind of burst of starburst in his fantasy. Then we hard got to the reality of his head turning into mist, and then dropping to the floor.
As he takes 5 damage.
Get wonkered, idiot.
This is enough to actually petrify the other 2, and they leg it. Holding hands, they seem to basically, this has been good for them. So that was a victory for everybody. Yeah.
And your cousin's a dick. What's that about, Searle?
Truth be told, I had no idea. We've tried to assassinate one another many times before, but never succeeded. I thought it was japes and nothing more.
The beat starts to die down as I stop slamming the ground. And you can see that like I've got a nosebleed which is like up towards the ceiling.
Yes, it would be nice if Costa and I could take a second to pull ourselves together.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Velvet. We need a drink.
Sure, yes, that's what I need. The crystal, it's coming to, well before Velvet was just Velvet again. It seems to be taking her a bit longer this time. I hate doing this. I hate doing this. It's not fun.
It's damn a shame. It's very useful. Beautiful.
Oh, I'm you know, Mr. Scrift, I'm sure it is.
And I love that your utility is like for everyone else, but for you it just sucks.
It is apparently my blood-given right. I love this job.
I'm having that gun.
Like, you pick up the gun, they've got some equipment. Amazingly, check his pocket. You've got 10 gold pieces. You're not sure what they are, but one might be a nose, that might be half an eye. But anyway, we got 10 gold pieces. That is an occult D8 item.
Yeah, I'm putting the nose over my own nose.
It doesn't fit, it appears to be like...
I'll make it fit.
Like a clown nose of just... Soil, I know you're not really one for a scrap or what have you, but they do say, speak softly and carry a large gun. So.
What about large blade, and because I have one on my character sheet, I point at a fallen greatsword that has fallen on the ground, and just with very, very thin, weedy arms, just... not quite. I'll need a little bit of practice. Kashta, are you okay? I did try to push you out of the way.
I appreciate the thought. Luckily I was able to use my incredible magic powers to avert a fight, and I think help those two gentlemen find love.
So incredible. Just stay there.
Yeah, it's gonna be such a shame when we have to kill him later.
And Pride Month is over. Like, it's fine.
Sorry, technically, just from a lore point of view, we have pulses in the heart, so it's Pride Pulse.
And Pride Pulse is over, so...
If nothing else, I'm going to take you up on that drink,
Yeah.
Caster, to be honest. I think that's probably for the best.
From what I can remember, a lot of the stuff they say around here is embalming fluid, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We can work it out. And I will stumble down. Oh, Heike, do you want this massive gun?
Yes, go on.
Mate. Early wedding gift.
It like matches your eyes and that.
Kieron, it's like a shell-loaded like elephant gun or something.
Oh, I love an elephant gun.
Yeah, it's a classic. Anyway, as you're kind of entering the haven, beaten, slightly tired, smellier, exhausted, and coming down from a really big high, heading towards the corpse god, you realise something significantly has changed in the god of corpses since you were last here. It's an enormous, fleshy creature that died here and no one ideas what it is. But as you look up at the enormous inside cavern of this cadaverous corpse, you realise there's a face up there. An enormous, fleshy face. Cold and dead. You recognise it, Hiker. It's your bridesmaid, and it speaks in a low, awful voice from beyond the grave.
Go home. Go home. Go home.
And we'll hard cut it there to end the session. Thank you very much.
I can't believe
Tremendous.
this.
If you've enjoyed this and you're interested in descending into your own sphincter, then you can download the Heart Quick Start for free right now, a beautifully redesigned Heart Quick Start. You can also spend money on the PDF or the book. If you go to rowanrookanddeckard.com, you can take a look and get something wonderful. I've been Grant Howitt. You can go to that website to find some more of my work, and I've been joined tonight by Naomi.
Hi, I've been Naomi Clarke, and you can find me at Naomi Thinks It all over the internet. You can also find my show at The Kilder, and if you want to see me playing more RPGs, such as world famous Chicken Nugget Wizard at Realms Pod, please jump on over there.
And Ed.
I am Edward Spence. You can find me on every social media at Edward_Spence_, and where there are amazing casts, you can usually find me being a relatively competent GM. You can find me over on Wounded Warrior Project on Tuesdays. You can find our imagined next chapter of Middle-earth with the Fourth Age. We have an incredible cast over there. Or you can check out Crit Award nominated Beyond the Brook, a beautiful story about 5 children lost in a mysterious wilderness known simply as the Backwoods. It'll be lovely to see you there.
And Nathan.
Hi, I have been Nathan Blades. Thank you for having me. If you would like to see more of me on stuff within Rowan, Rook and Deckard, you can go and check out the first scenario book for Die, where I wrote I Go Infinite, which is a love letter to collectible card games and full of puns. You can also hear me as the voice of Captain Oromar Vale on the Campaign Skyjacks podcast. And if you would like to go and give my games a try, you can find them at theneoncaster.itch.io. Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, glamorous celebrity GM Kieron.
Hello, I'm Kieron Gillen. I'm goodbye, I'm Kieron Gillen, really.
I like that.
KieronGillen.com, it links for everything.
Thank you very much, and join us next time for more Groove is in the Heart.
Hey!
It's official!
Thank you for listening to Till Death Do Us Part, a Rowan, Rook and Deckard actual play. This episode was produced by Naomi Clarke, with editing by Maddy, Searle and Oliver Morris. The theme was by Nick Seatman, with additional music by Kai Pritchard. The GM was Kieron Gillen. Soil was played by Ed Spence. Velvet was played by Nathan Blades. Castor was played by yours truly, Grant Howitt. And Hiker was played by Naomi Clarke. If you'd like to learn more about Heart the City Beneath and our other fine role-playing games, go to rrdgames.com and buy something. You are listening to a rodent, and this is my computer made a noise. You're listening. I've forgotten the line.